So welcome to the Yin Yoga morning class. We're going to be working all the different parts of our body today, getting some qi flowing through our joints. So I recommend that if you have a soft foam roller or even any foam roller, that you can place it the long way on your mat and lie down on the roller. For those of you who are already lying down, and I did mention to you that we're going to be using a lot of props. One prop I didn't mention, which after you get off the roller, you may want to get if you don't have it handy, is a strap or one of those stretch bands. Because we're going to do some movements where it might be easier to hold the stretch band than to hold your foot or something like that. So, sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. So let's begin. Make sure your spine is stretched out along the mat on the roller. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And let it fall out of your mouth. And do that a couple more times. In breath, deep breath in, down to the belly. Exhale through your mouth. Last one at your own pace. Inhale and exhale. Let's do a mental inventory of how we're feeling, and just use your mind's eye to travel down from the back of your head all the way down to your neck. When you get to your shoulders, walk your fingers down towards the bottom of your mat to take the shoulders away from the ears, and then let your shoulder blades drape down over the roller. Traveling down to your sacrum, feel your tailbone and the big bone in the back of your pelvis very heavy. And then if your knees are bent, feel your feet making a good connection with the surface. And lift and lower your toes a few times. And lift your heels and toes up and down a few times. So let's begin to sway from side to side, just gently massaging back, getting the whole spine from the back of your head down to your tailbone, moving in the same direction from side to side. Do a couple more movements side to side. And come back to center. We're going to do half angel pose. So we're just going to bring the fingertips up to your shoulder blades and then slide your elbows along the floor from your waist up towards the back of the mat, just opening up the shoulders. Nice, smooth breaths as you inhale and exhale your elbows up and down. Do one more up and down. And then lift those elbows up, still keeping the fingertips on the shoulders. Lift the elbows up to the ceiling and take the elbows together and out to the mat 2 or 3 times. Nice breaths. Don't forget to breathe when you're doing these movements. And then we're going to lift those elbows up to the ceiling and down to the mat. And then drop your hands down to the mat with your fingers and palms on the mat, and begin to sway your knees from side to side. You can sway the roller a little bit too, and just continue doing that with some nice, smooth, easy breaths. Come back to center. And then lengthen out your legs. Slide first one heel and then the other out long. And just let the pelvis and legs just relax for a moment. And if it works in your body, you can bring your arms up and overhead, stretch them out behind you. Feel that nice, intense stretch on the front of the body. And just take a couple of breaths here. Slowly bring the arms back down, slide the feet in and come off the roller. Come down onto your mat. You can keep your knees bent or lengthen out your legs. And just take a final inventory of how you're feeling, if you can feel that prana or chi flowing. Getting to wake up the body, preparing it for our yin practice. This is also a great time in the practice to create an intention, something that you want to focus on for the class or for the day or for the week, for the month, for your life. So just think about something that you would like to manifest. And when you're ready, bring your feet in, bend your knees, bend over to the side and come up to seated. And we're going to start this practice on the belly. So I want you to make yourself comfortable in a prone position where you're lying on your belly. And as I said, if you want to get up and grab a strap, you may want to use it for one of the poses. It's not, if you don't have one, no big deal. But if you have one, it may help you get a deeper stretch in one of the poses we're going to do. So let's come down on the belly. And cross your arms at the elbows and just drop your forehead down onto your forearms. Make sure that you are feeling okay in your torso here, if your belly and your rib cage and your hips feel okay. If not, you can put a pillow or blanket around your waist or a little lower or higher, wherever it feels good, to make sure that you're comfortable in this position. Take a few deep inhales and exhales and feel the breath going into your back body. Feel the ribs in the back expand and notice the difference when you breathe into the back body. So nice deep inhale. And complete exhale. One more time. Sigh it out. So our first pose is a Sphinx pose. So I'm going to first slide your hands out in front of you and then draw your elbows in a comfortable distance. Some people don't like too much of a stress in the low back. So you can keep your elbows a little forward if you like, or you can walk them back so that they're under your shoulders. So find your edge here, and we're going to come into this Sphinx pose, just a regular Sphinx pose for 2 minutes. If this is uncomfortable on your neck, you can, sometimes my neck bothers me. I just bring my hands up and place my head on my chin, so I don't have to keep the weight of my neck up. So this is just different tips for different times when you're feeling more or less in harmony with your body. Just allow the low part of your body to relax, your hips, your thighs. You don't have to worry about your shoulders. You can let them soften. Focus on your breath, focus on your body. Feel the hips sink into the mat. Take a deep breath in and lower yourself back down onto the mat. Cross your arms at the elbows and just relax the back. We're going to add something onto the Sphinx. So you're going to come back up into your Sphinx pose. And again, if you want to prop yourself up a little bit here, you can take one of your pillows and place it underneath your arms here. We're not trying to go for it. We want to be really relaxed in yin poses. That's where you get the most benefit from them. So come back up into the Sphinx, and we're going to slide that left knee out towards the left hip, as high as it feels comfortable for you, for your edge. Just going to slide it up and then relax the hips. And we're going to stay in this baby tadpole pose for a minute. Get a nice stress in the groin area, in the hip, and in the sacral region. A gentle movement that makes a huge difference in your flexibility. Keep softening, keep looking for tension and let it go. Let's slowly slide that left leg down. Relax for just a breath, and then we're going to slide the right knee out to the side as high as it's comfortable in baby tadpole on the other side. Slowly drop that right leg down, come down onto your forearms again. Breathe into the backside of your body. And our next pose is where you would use your strap or who has, do either of you have a strap?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I do too.
All right, so we're gonna, I didn't tell you this part. I'm such a good teacher. I have a little loop in my strap because I'm gonna roll over to my right side and place that strap around my left foot. If your strap is really long, you may not need the loop. Because we're gonna use that loop to roll back down onto your belly, bring your knees together, and then draw that left knee in towards your back. So, you could just use your hand, but that makes you very stressed out. And I like to really chillax in these poses. So I'll give you a second to get organized. Let me know. You all ready? Tell me when you're ready, and we'll start the clock on this. If you have a good-
Susan, where is the loop? Around your ankle?
I have it around my ankle. Yeah, you can have it around your toes. It doesn't really matter. You just want to be able to pull your leg in comfortably and not worry about it.
Okay, I'm set.
How you doing, Judy?
Also,
All right, we're going to hold this for 2 minutes. So I'm going to bring my head down onto my right forearm and then just use both hands to hold that strap in a comfortable but a little bit of a stress on the quads position. And once you find your edge, just really relax into it. Slowly release the left leg down and take some time with both arms crossed to just feel the sensation. So we're going to switch our strap to the other foot. What I noticed when I was doing it is I started with a strap, and after a while my leg relaxed more and I was able to grab my foot with my hand. But I don't like to start that way because it's a little stressful. So I'm just going to stick my strap on the other foot. And tell me when you're ready and I'll begin the timer.
All set here.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, and if you start feeling your leg relax, you might want to try to reach up with your right hand. Grab that foot. Gently release that right leg. Come down onto your forearms. And just feel those hips sink into the mat. So then roll over onto your side and let's come to a seated position for just a heartbeat while we prepare for our last prone type pose. So we're going to do a child's pose, but it's a really comfy child's pose. So the first thing I do is I get a prop for my belly, 2 props for my knees. You're going to take your, come up onto your knees, take them as wide as is comfortable, and as many pillows and props for your belly as is comfortable. And I really like to cheat. I take my roller and I stick it behind me and then sit down on my roller. And I do this because I have bad knees. If you don't have bad knees, you may not need to do all this propping, but you want to be comfortable and you want to really, really soften in these poses. So Make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can to come into a child's pose. And then when you're ready, just gonna slide your hands down. I'm gonna make it so I can get my head down. My chin is on the front of my pillow, so I can still breathe. And then just soften the arms down in front of you. So we're gonna be here for 3 minutes. This is a good one before bed. Once you get into the pose, if you feel any discomfort, you can always readjust your props. Sometimes I find I have my knees too wide and I have to bring my knees in a little bit, or sometimes I want them wider. So there's no problem to make any adjustments you need to make the pose very comfortable for you. Imagine your shoulder blades getting even softer, dropping to the sides. Slowly stay in the pose. We're going to take that left arm, slide it over to the left, and then walk your right fingertips over to the left so that your upper torso is twisting to the left side. And you get a good stretch on the right side of your body. So just stay here for a few breaths. And on an inhale, slide your right arm back to center, bring the left arm back, and then we'll do the other side. So we're going to slide the right arm over to the right, and then walk those left fingertips over and take some stretchy breaths here. Slowly walk your hands back to center and then bring them in underneath your shoulders. Lift up your hips. Walk your feet in, and we'll just do a few cat-cows here. So lift up your back, drop your chin, lift up your chin, drop your tummy. So just do a few cat and cows. And then come back to center. Move those props out of the way and come to a seated position. Just take off your strap, it's still on your leg. And just bend your knees for a moment. Bring your arms behind you. Lift up your heart. Just really lift up your heart. And then just do a few windshield wipers from side to side. And then we're going to come into a wide-legged stance. And for comfort again, I like to put a pillow under my knees. The thing is, I think we've talked about this in other classes, that if you have tight hips or bad knees or some problems with your ankles, any one of these joints along this lower body chain, the area that's tight or injured will send its stress to the next area. So you want to support the areas that are not as strong so that you can get the maximum flexibility in the areas where you want to get your stretching. Plus, it will eventually help the weak areas get stronger. Lecture over. So we're going to make sure that you feel the distance between that sits bone and that heel. So feel your leg growing really long in whatever openness you have in your leg, so that you really feel the length, the back of your legs, and make sure your hams are comfortable. So we're getting a good stretch here in a lot of different places. We're getting the hamstrings and we're getting the groin, and we're going to do the low back again. So again, I like to prop myself. I'm going to come into a forward fold here. So you want to make sure that you are comfortable in your forward fold and you're not stressing. So I generally have to do a lot of propping in the beginning so that I feel comfortable everywhere in my body. Oops. So we're going to hold this forward fold for 3 minutes. And if you find that you need to make adjustments in the middle, that's fine. So come down over your props. Drop your hands down beside you. Round the back and just release that low back. And surrender. Slowly walk your hands back. Bring your hands behind you. Lift up your heart. And then you can remove the props if you have any in front of you. And we're going to just do a little side stretch here. So bend your right foot and bring your right heel in towards your groin. And we're going to bring our left hand outside of our left hip and bring the right arm up. And just feel that side stretch. Relax that right leg, that right knee. Remember, you can always prop it more if it's uncomfortable. You can have your head in any position you want to keep your neck feeling good. Couple more breaths here. Slowly lower that right arm and keeping your right leg exactly where it is. We're going to twist around, place the left hand on the right knee and bring the right hand behind you and come into a twist to the right. Release that twist, lengthen out that right leg, and we're going to switch sides. So you're going to take the left heel in, prop that left foot, left knee, I mean. Sit up tall, take your right arm over to the right, and lift that left arm up. And you may notice you can be either more or less flexible on this side. But listen to your body, listen to your neck. Take some breaths here. And then slowly drop down that left arm. We're going to turn to the left, bring the right hand onto the left thigh, the left knee, and twist around to the left. And come back to center, lengthen out your left leg. And then we're going to bring the hands behind us again and do some more windshield wiper movements. And back to center. Now this next pose is one of my favorite poses, and you both have a roller, but sometimes it can be a strong pose. So I recommend that you have handy behind you a pillow for your head. You're going to take your roller and come around and have your roller underneath your knees. And then slowly make your way down onto your back. You may or may not need the pillow. And then we're gonna take the roller up so that you can hold on either end. You're gonna take a deep breath in and lift your hips up onto your roller. I don't think I need my pillow, so I'm gonna take it out. Now, if this is too much of a stress on your body, you can get off the roller and come onto a block on the low setting, or you can come onto a pillow. It doesn't really matter. It's how you feel in the pose. We're going to stretch out the hip flexors here. So you're going to slide your legs out, and you'll feel this in different parts of your body. You'll feel it in the back, maybe on your sacrum, and then you'll feel it in the front, on the tops of your thighs. I'm going to stay here for a bit. If the pose is very strong, you can do one leg at a time. It's your pose, your body, your sensations. If you want even more stressing, you can bring your arms up overhead. When I say stressing, I mean the good kind of stress. The good stress helps get rid of the bad stress. So for the next part of the pose, you can bend your left knee or leave it leg straight and draw that right knee in and feel an additional stress on the left hip. Let's take a few breaths here. If you're doing this and it doesn't feel that comfortable, you might want to try it if you do the video at home, just using the strap over your shin. So we'll release the right leg, slide it down, and then bring the left leg in and do the same thing. I usually start with my hands behind my thighs, and then as I feel the release, I can grab the shin. And slowly release that left leg, bring both knees in, lift up your hips, and take that prop out from underneath them. Just take a moment to lengthen out your whole body. Just feel that chi, that prana flowing. So bring your arms out to your sides and then shimmy your upper body, your shoulders over to the right. So you get a little stretch in the side there, and then take the legs out to either side of the mat and then take the left heel over towards the right heel. So you're in that banana pose. And if it works in your body, you can take your arms up and clasp your fingers or your wrists. Feel a good stretch. I'm going to stay here for 2 minutes. Keep that left hip on the mat. Gently release the pose, come back to center. Pause here for a few breaths. And then taking your feet wide, you're going to shimmy your upper body over to the left. And then slide that right foot over beside the left foot, keeping the right hip on the mat. Your arms can be wherever you want them to be. If you put them overhead, you get a full body stretch on the right side. Something about this pose, I just love it. Maybe because I love bananas, I don't know. Slowly release this pose. Come back to center. Bend your knees. Hug them into your chest. We're going to come into a twist to the left. So if you want to take a prop and put it on the left side to rest your knees when you come into the twist, you can. And take your arms out to the side and then just drop your knees over to the left. Keep the shoulders on the mat. Your head can be looking at the ceiling, or it can be looking to the left or the right, whatever feels good. Gently bring your arms back and knees to the center. Give them a little hug. Then we're going to bring the arms out to the side and drop the knees over to the right. Keeping that left shoulder on the mat. Gradually bring the knees back to center and leave the knees bent and just bring your feet up into the air for just a few breaths. And then you can drop the feet down to the mat and prepare for the last pose. So make yourself comfortable. Pillows, props, blankets. We'll spend some time in the most important pose of the class, Shavasana. Gently roll over onto your side. Stay here for just a bit. Deepen your breath. When you're ready, use your arms to make your way up to seated. Thank you for joining me today. May all beings be happy and free, and may our